What is up, guys? So, tonight I decided that I would dare to attempt to do a live stream, considering that as of 5 minutes ago, I went from having two bars of reception to one, to three, to none, to two, to one, and then I decided to do an update that Sprint has told me that I can do. It's like you press number and spell out update on the keypad and then the number sign again, dial it, wait for it to refresh or do its thing, and then I restart the device. And as of right now, I have 4 bars, but there's no guarantee. Even when I do that, it just dies. But hopefully, it'll hang in there enough to where I can finally do a stream without embarrassing myself with poor connection. And in addition, in the past, I have had full reception and it still does that bullshit. But, anyways, I just don't care. I'm just gonna try. But, anyways, so tonight I'm just going to do a general stream, given that I really didn't have anything in mind to really discuss, anything out there that I'm just dying to like dive into and just express myself like I usually do. But yeah, there's been stuff going on in the news that honestly it's kind of meh to discuss, but maybe eventually I'll get into it. But honestly, part of the reason why I was away was because I was honestly not feeling too well again, which wow, that is shocking, right? But particularly, it was a combination of like mental fatigue with physical issues. And I said, I just need to not do anything that resembles work. And even then, I was still trying to get the stuff that I regularly get done. But I said to myself, it's about time I picked up on my hobbies again because I'm starting to let go of myself in ways that I don't particularly enjoy. But, anyways, I decided to stop making excuses and at least shoot a few videos here and there. That's why we randomly had like 2 on one day. But I just don't want for it to feel like I'm letting go of the channel because that's not my intention. This is something that I want to do forever if possible since I enjoy it so much. But, anyway, that's enough rambling from me. Just marry me and stop playing games with my heart. Oh, Garuda, that is a guy who misses me. Hello there, Jimmy. I saw your fantastic comment. It made me laugh. You just have a way of leaving some really good comments. That's all I have to say. I feel like I'm supposed to be the one entertaining you since I'm the one running the show here, but I feel like you do better at entertaining me than I do at entertaining you. But anyways, so let's see. What are some random things that I can mention while we get settled here, just in case someone else shows up? I have a question for you guys who happen to be present. And this is going to be a really stupid question, but do you guys feel like you eat soup or do you drink soup? I honestly drink it, but of course, I say that I am eating soup if it has stuff in it, like veggies, chicken, broccoli. Well, broccoli is like a green. But how do you guys express that? Do you say, I'm going to drink this soup or I am going to eat this soup? I feel like if it's just the broth, it is more appropriate to say that you're drinking it. But we had a severe disagreement about it. And then I said, look, man, if you're sipping something, you're technically drinking something. So soups are the whole joke and fun about soup is that you get to sip them. They are liquidy. So you are drinking them. But if you want to be specific and you want to describe the fact that it has food chunks in it, then yes, you are eating that. But you have to express the thought more clearly. Like, like if you say you'll eat soup, it's because that soup is like more elaborated. But if you're just drinking the broth, then your soup is like incomplete. So you should say that you're just drinking soup because I think it's just lame to describe the action of you sipping a liquid as eating it. you know? So I said, if you're going to have like a very elaborate soup, then you are eating it. But I always say, I'm about to drink this soup. That, and I also like to be different. But you guys let me know. I tend to eat soups that are plain. Only when I go to restaurants may I spoil myself with the broccoli one. But at home, I personally always make like tomato soup, or I take a bouillon cube and that's like heat up some water, let it boil, whatever, and then mash it all up. There's my broth. But like, I never say that I'm eating soup. It's weird. It's weird. But I know that the more sensible thing to say would be, or sensible thing to say would be that you're eating soup. But just to be a complete bully and a troll to this person, I kept saying, no, you drink soup. But yeah, you guys, I thought I would bring that here and see if you guys feel the same. If you guys would be trolls like me, or if you guys feel like it's absolutely ridiculous that that is even a question. But the fact that we had like a heated discussion about it made it hilarious to me. And there's something about seeing people agitated or beginning to get agitated. All I want to do is add fuel to it because it's just fun for me. Like they may be getting ready to, like, I don't know, start hitting me or something, and I'm like, yeah, go ahead, you can do whatever. You can scream, be loud, like make my ears bleed from how loud you are, but don't touch me. Don't touch me. I love your cat and food vids, and they shall never end. I am in the process of doing another Dusty video, but he has not given me content yet to post it, but I'm working on it. And also, food vids, I definitely have some stuff pending, but I just need to get on the more responsible side of eating and lose some weight to where I am comfortable doing that mess again. But the sad thing of it is that probably after I end this, it's like about to be midnight. I'm probably gonna roll up somewhere and eat junk. But nah, I don't have to eat anymore. I don't feel hungry. But I have been falling victim to the trap of I have to eat late because my schedule has been, crap again. But yeah, the food content is never going to end because I'm discovering new things every week at least, and all I want to do is tell everyone about it. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much what's going on in that department. Let's see. Nice, glad I can be entertaining. Yes, one day you need to run the show. Eat soup and drink it. But I say eat the soup. Yeah, the most appropriate thing would be to say eat the soup. I drink soup. The ingredients is annoying if I have to nibble on anything. Good point. That is why usually when I make soups, I like to have them just plain, liquid. But if you try to integrate other things into it, like chicken, something about chicken that cannot retain its seasoning just rubs me the wrong way. You can say, oh, but the soup has the salt and the flavors in it. All you gotta do is dip the chicken in it. It's not the same because it's liquid that's running off the flesh of chicken and it doesn't stay there because the chicken is being. Okay, you start cooking the chicken separately and then you throw it into the soup, but it's losing its flavor. And I don't like the texture of chicken that's been in soup form. I like for my chicken to be almost dehydrated, but not all the way. So definitely cooking the chicken to where it's grilled. That's my optimal, preferable, favorite chicken state. But usually anything that's steamed, I'm not very wild about. The one thing that I can really mess with that's usually steamed would be rice and broccoli. But even with broccoli, It depends on who's fixing it because not everyone knows how to make good broccoli for some reason. I don't know if it's the brand, I don't know if it's the quality of the broccoli at that moment in time, but especially frozen broccoli. If you don't fix it right, you can still taste the fact that it was frozen at some point. That's true with any food, really. But with broccoli, if it's raw or almost raw, just not looking dark, it is terrible. I hate it. But when it's steamed just right and you sprinkle some pepper on it and maybe even a tad bit of butter, that is heaven for me. So, broccoli, I trust it from mom the most. And I have had a really good experience at one specific Asian restaurant that they have never messed up my broccoli. But if I'm feeling adventurous and really want to spoil myself, another favorite way of consumption of broccoli for me would be in a baked potato. So, baked potatoes. I like to have the potato and maybe spread a little bit of butter, just a tad bit of butter in it. Add cheese, add broccoli, add beef, and sprinkle some pepper on it. That is my optimal baked potato. So if you guys ever mess with baked potatoes, let me know how it is that you fix it, what you put in it, or if you think that it's absolutely disgusting, just go ahead and say that too. I'm not offended. But when I was a kid, I used to be absolutely against it, but then I finally gave it a chance and I built up my own baked potato, and that mess was good. It's, of course, since you're having a whole freaking potato, it can leave you like kind of bloated, I guess. Or maybe that's just me because, you know, my stomach is just weak. But but I love baked potatoes. So I am going to try to make a video about that at some point. Because maybe it doesn't sound so great when you describe it, but maybe if you see it in its glory, you may find it appetizing. Um, let's see. Why do we drive on a parkway and park in a driveway? Holy crap, I never thought about that. That's pretty neat. Drive on a parkway and park on the driveway. I never thought about that. I'm so glad you brought that up. I came to drink soup, not nibble on veggies or meat chunks. Yeah, that's why I feel like meat chunks and all that good stuff, they have their own little separate recipes. I think that soup should be its own thing. Now, I'm going to admit this is a piece of crap in the grand scheme of things, but Olive Garden has a good chicken and gnocchi soup. I tried that for the first time back in like 2011ish, and I was addicted to that mug for a long time. I believe it has carrots in it, some kind of green thing. I don't remember what it is. Of course, the gnocchi, which that was my first time having gnocchi. Maybe that is a bad thing because I'm pretty sure that there's better gnocchi out there. But I just thought, gnocchi, what the hell is this thing? It's just so. It's like a punch of concentrated potatoey flavor. But it's really good. It's just good. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes when I think about going back to Olive Garden, that's what I have in mind. I'm thinking about the soup more than any actual entrees. But yeah, I have no business going to Olive Garden. The last time I went there, it was back in 2015ish, and it had been years since I had been there. And we had such terrible customer service. We were waiting for our food, without kidding you, for about an hour and 30 minutes. Everyone kept getting their plates. Some people were late, but everyone was eating and we were still sitting there. And no one was really actively checking up on us. And when someone would come over, they would be like, your food is about to come out. And then there was this manager having a good time chatting it up with some people on some table. And I'm thinking, when is our motherfucking food coming out? It's been a while. when we did get it, it was pretty mediocre. And I said, after this, I highly doubt that I'm coming back. It is possible that I will come back, maybe for like, if I really need to re-experience this gnocchi soup, I might go back for it, or maybe to make a video out of it. Like maybe a decade from now, if they still exist, be like, oh yeah, I remember that back in 2012, I used to eat this thing with frequency and it was great. Let me see if it uh, takes me back to such times, but I highly doubt it. Especially if the older you get, you start losing your sense of taste and stuff is just not the same anymore. A decade from now, the effects of that are probably going to be hitting me. So I gotta consider that. But I'm not sure. If you guys really want an Olive Garden chicken gnocchi soup, let me know and I'll make it happen. But it is not something that I have pending on the clipboard. Um, Ask these people if they would eat a Bloody Mary or drink a Bloody Mary. I drink soup, not eat a drink. Exactly. And for any of you guys arriving and you're confused as to what the earlier comments that I'm going over right now are about, I was asking, do you eat or do you drink soup? And basically, one time, well, recently, a friend of mine and I really got into some kind of an argument about it, and I kept saying, no, you drink soup. And they kept saying, no, you eat soup. And the more agitated they got, the more troll mode I got, you know, because I just love trying to add fuel to the fire. But yeah, I just like to be different. I know that the proper thing to say is that you're eating it, since it's usually not alone. But if it's absolutely liquidy, like no other ingredients to it, then why the hell not say, I'm about to drink the soup? You know? So you guys let me know, any of you that are tuning in. Will you do a food vid and show your plump for scientific purposes? No. I put it on a level of softness. I love chicken noodle soup, but I don't want to... Do you mean bite into it? I want it to be soft on the teeth so I can chug. I mean broccoli. I only buy fresh broccoli. You know what? Broccoli crowns are something that I haven't ever truly messed with, like the raw kind. And it's because when you go to the produce section, they just look so massive. Whereas the ones that are frozen, they only give you like the florets. I like the florets. The crown is just too overwhelming, I guess. And of course, you can always try to chop it up, I guess, but I don't want to have to do that. And in addition, the real broccoli, the one that has like the freaking stem to it, is like really thick and whatnot. I don't like that. It's like, it's not like asparagus. Asparagus is just a bunch of stalks, but they are easy to cut through. But broccoli, when it's raw like that, it's a complete different animal. But of course, you could steam it. But that massive broccoli, when I see that it sells so well, I'm like, I know broccoli is good for you, and I ain't gonna front, it is my favorite vegetable. But if it's not the florets, I'm not messing with it. So I'm not even gonna lie there. Yes, I will take the broccoli with extra butter, extra cheese. Hold the broccoli. I make raw broccoli with garlic chunks, vinegar, and olive oil with salt. That is an amazing combination. It's pretty much everything I cook with already, and you're just throwing it over broccoli. I also boil broccoli with mashed potatoes with a pinch of salt with butter and milk or almond milk. I never thought about milk on this situation. I'm not gonna lie. I go hard. Ah, Ninja says, hey baby, hey Ninja. I'm so glad that you're able to, what is it, sign in and be here, because I feel like some of you guys I don't get to see much anymore. Well, especially if I don't stream much anymore, right? Hi Zamri. Hey Jordan. Oh God, Jordan, that reminds me, I never got to your message. I think you sent a link about something. If I remember, I'll check it tonight. But when it comes to Twitter, I've been in it just to see what's going on, read the news, retweet the mess that hello, retweets are endorsements. I believe that I added that to my bio some time ago. But how do you guys feel about that? When, especially journalists, I think this is something they're required to do. They're required to say that retweets are not endorsements. How can you not be biased when it comes to that? Because if I see something that I like, that I agree with, that I want other people to see, I'm going to retweet because I endorse it. I agree with it. I wouldn't want something in my profile that does not reflect my values. But sharing dissenting views for educational purposes can be a good thing. So I'm not going to say that retweeting something that you disagree with and then you not being clear about the fact that anything that you share is not an endorsement can generate confusions and whatnot. But if you're in that profession, no one should really care about what point of view you're in. What people are concerned about is the way that information circulates and that they receive the information. But them profiles who say that retweets are not endorsements, it's like, how can you protect yourself from being biased? Would you really retweet something that you're absolutely against without clarifying that that's something that you're not into? Or maybe it is possible that I'm missing the point about that disclaimer. Totally possible. But I just think it's odd that that is something that profiles have to include. And another thing that really drives me up a wall is when I see the she slash her, he slash him. I get it. I can see your picture. I can read your name. Well, some names tend to be unisex for some reason, which to me, they shouldn't be. Some of them really should not be unisex, like Taylor. To me, Taylor is usually, originally, it was a boy name for me because the first Taylor I ever met was a guy. And my principal happened to have Taylor as a last name. But those were my only two examples growing up. And after that, I said, Taylor is a male name. Then I started meeting all of these Taylors who are female. And even that one singer, Taylor Swift. She too is a Taylor. That is a girl. But seeing that on profiles just really annoys me because unless you have like an anime photo or maybe a transformer or a car and your name is like Shooting Star 700 or something, we don't need that. We don't need that clarification. And I tend to see that a lot in SJW profiles. But I just really think it's silly and unnecessary. But just because I think it's silly and unnecessary, I'm not condemning it. It's just something that I never thought growing up that I would see on people's profiles. Like when I was growing up, I would never see that. Growing up on the internet, never saw that. But now, people are clarifying that they are she, their pronouns she, her, him, he, his. Yeah. Fortunately, I don't see them too often. But again, depending on which profiles I visit, there seems to be a correlation. But you guys let me know how you feel about that. But yeah, Twitter, my retweets tend to be endorsements unless it's something absolutely insane. And quotes, if I'm seeing something that I dissent with and I see someone quoting it and adding information that I agree with, that's what I retweet. And that becomes my endorsement. But I just cannot imagine retweeting something that I don't already endorse, you know? But anyways, you guys let me know what you think about that one. Are we talking about the soup with spicy ground beef, herbs, potatoes, and peppers? Oh, that sounds good. I never thought about adding peppers to it. You're talking about the pepper, right? Not the black pepper, right? Like, that's usually what I'm talking about. But yeah, bell pepper sound like it would be good on it, actually. I need to try it. I need to try it. Because there are things that sound good in theory, but when you actually try it, it is not good. Say ingest it covers both eating and drinking. I'm getting ready to ingest this soup. As much as I prefer that term, given that I enjoy a prose that hangs out on the more professional side of things, if you're speaking to a friend about something you're getting ready to do, you really do not need such a formal vocabulary. But that is a good point. If you wanted to diffuse any situation about, like, what I was going through, which was this person arguing with me, saying in jest would definitely make me win the argument. But it would take the fun from it. But yeah, that is a good point, in jest. Yeah, because it is going inside you. How is everything? And I haven't been to Olive Garden since last year of summer. Very good, but the bread is too heavy. I love the place, how it looks. It is so awesome to take the breadsticks and like dip them into this soup thing that they have going on. That is some good bread. And when they made it unlimited, I said, forget this. There's a lot of people who are just going to gain like 20 pounds per visit. That is what she said. My crown is big. I am not Gordon Ramsay, but I can make a female love me with my cooking. The lone wolf says hi. Hi. I'm sorry for missing out on a lot of your videos. I've been welding a lot of work and trying to keep a good sleep pattern. Don't even worry about it, because for me it was streams were not happening at all. So I tried to go back to do some vlogging just like I used to do back in the good old days, but something about filming and then putting all of that together feels weird to me now, whereas streaming is perfect, but at the same time they can drag for so long. But that's the beauty of it, because it captures me in like a raw form, whereas if I do this same type of setup but edit it, it's like, sure, the jump cuts are great because sometimes I'm able to trim like 10 seconds of me getting my mind together. And I'm like, why is this so hard for me? Why, when I'm streaming, I can be talking the whole time, but when I'm editing a video or when I'm filming something that I know I'm going to edit, it's like I just forget what I'm doing. It's weird. Maybe the comments help with the flow and keep me engaged, but then I tell myself there was a time in which I didn't have someone present, or if I would have someone present, it was 1 to 2 people. And sometimes they like to just be the kind of audience that is there listening, watching, but they're not saying anything. But yeah, why did it become so tough for me all of a sudden? But when I think about it, the one factor that I have presently that I did not have back then was extra stress. And then I thought, well, stress doesn't have to reduce me into being unable to keep up with a hobby. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm here, just a little more less here, but I'm here. I remember back in the day in 2006, Olive Garden used to sell vegetarian pizza. Tastes so good. You know, I never really knew of Olive Garden back then, to tell you the truth. I only tried it, I started hearing about it back in 2009-ish, 2010. And then the hype in my school about it was just too much. And then I said to Mom, there's this place called Olive Garden. The closest one is like some 30 minutes away. Do you want to go? It's Italian. And then she was like, sure. And I like the setting. It looks fancy and whatnot, but it's junk food. It's crap. You shouldn't mess with that. Let's see. Where am I at? I sent you a message on Twitter and Instagram, though I never got any responses back. That is because I was about to tell you a big lie, bro. I was about to say that is because I don't have an Instagram, and that is not true. The reason I was gonna say I don't have an Instagram is because I don't use it. I haven't used it since I made the account back in 2016, 2017. I don't remember which email I used. I don't remember which password, of course. Yeah, that's wild. I do have an Instagram. It's just inactive. I do not recall ever posting anything in it. But on Twitter, did you send a message? I recall seeing a message. And I guess if you haven't received the message, it's because I think my settings are to where you need to be following me to be able to send messages. But I guess you can try again. Perhaps identify yourself and tell me that I said on the stream that I was gonna get back to you. But yeah, I'm not trying to be shady or anything. I just haven't received anything. But if you want to, you can do it right now. I would be able to see it because I'm signed in. And just try to contact me. But that's crazy. I never saw your message. I only remember seeing Jordan's. He sent me something. And then Viking, occasionally I message him and then he replies. And of course, my absentee moderator, Ollie, I message him too. But yeah, I see no messages from anybody else who I don't already know. And the older messages go back to 2016. So, yep, no messages on Twitter. Yep, no. Oh, and of course, my self messages for when I find a thread that I need to read later, I just DM myself about it so I can read it later and not miss it. Of course, I could retweet it, but I don't want to do that, you know? Oh my god, I go to the trending page on Twitter, and you know what's there? Protester throws menstrual blood at senators during vaccine bill hearing. Great! We ain't gonna read that. Twitter is crazy, but at the same time, if I didn't have it, I would not catch up with the news quite as easily or quite as much. Yeah, I don't have news apps like that. And I don't watch TV, so. The only time I'm exposed to TV is at the gym. And even though they have the TV on, doesn't mean I'm listening to it. Because I have my music on. I will have to get on the treadmill, plug my headphones to it, and then get the channel to, I don't know, it's something about the setup of the treadmill. You tell it what channel you want to tune into or listen to, and then that's how the sound comes out. And it is absolutely the shittiest quality ever because it's the output is like the treadmill. But yeah, I don't watch TV. That's pretty wild. Usually when I'm on the treadmill at the gym, I'm doing stuff on my phone. So I do not watch TV. Yeah. No. Let's see. I got lost in my comments, so bear with me. Oh, it's all good. I have sent you a message you will love. Very peaceful, but don't rush messages. It's all good, dear friend. My name means a male who likes females and protect village from a serpent. My profile picture is just a cute cat. Sweet. A cat is my spiritual animal. I love your Twitter, Zamri. Very cool. You know what? My Twitter has been a roller coaster. It's like I have so much crap in there, and I've had it for such a long time. And what's crazy is that that's not even my original Twitter. My original Twitter was made in 2009. And then something happened to it, and I said, forget it, I'm gonna delete it and start it over. What happened to it? I don't remember. But I know that 2011 ish, that's when I opened the current one. And I said, this is it. This is the one I'm keeping. Um, let's see. One of my co-workers' email signatures includes pronouns she, her. Are you serious? Like, they actually do that on emails at work? That's wild. Yes, Welding Ninja, that's the soup I'm talking about. It's super tasty. How many years Taylor Swift be in the game of music business? I do not know, because she is someone who does not really play a tune that I could hypothetically dance to. So, I don't know. If I had to guess, I would say 10 years? 12 years? I've definitely heard of her since I've been in high school. So, 15 years? How old is she? 1989, maybe? She looks like she would be like 30 years old by now. Is she 30? 35? What if she's one of those people who like cakes up so much that she's secretly 40, but all that photoshopping makes her look 30? I could Google her, but I don't want to give her time on my stream. So we're not gonna do that. But if I'm too curious, I'll maybe come back to it and be like, hey guys, I apologize, but I am going to give Taylor Swift an extension of her platform on this platform, and we're gonna discuss her. But no, we're not gonna discuss her. Damn, haven't seen you in my feed in a while. Yes, because I just haven't been feeding the feed, you know what I'm saying? And honestly, I don't feel too bad about that. I saw my analytics, because YouTube does this thing where they send you some kind of newsletter on the email. And of course, sometimes I get notifications about comments that are being left, and I'm like, oh yeah, let me get back to the channel because it's been a while. And on the note of comments, here's something strange about comments and the way I am psychologically wired. I used to get so much anxiety when I would see that I had a new comment under one of my videos. And it's not necessarily that I was insecure or nothing like that. It's just that when some of your videos take off and you see that people express dissent in relatively, what is it, aggressive ways, it can get pretty discouraging. But then I told myself, why am I afraid of people who are behind some glass? You know, like, I don't want to devalue the experience on this platform. Like, I don't want to invalidate you guys to be the guys who are present right now. I've known some of you for a little while now. And of course, whatever you say to me would matter, especially given that there is a record that in the past you guys have helped me. But sometimes you know that someone took the time to go to the comments, type something up to you, and they had to be absolutely impolite about it. It's like, if I knew this person in real life and they were talking to me like that, that is the sad thing, that I do not know this person in real life. But if I did, what I would do is I would look at them and I would be like, what is wrong with you? You know, like, I do not tolerate that mess. There was a time in which I used to tolerate that, especially from people who were older than me, because the way that I was brought up is you're supposed to respect your elders no matter what. But nobody told me that sometimes elders will not earn that respect and that I don't have to tolerate such a thing. So, as common sense as that should be, when you grow up honoring your values like that, honoring those things, what's imposed onto you, it can get difficult. So eventually, I said to myself, the people in the comments, I will normally not know their age. So I just gotta assume that this person is for some reason my superior. And then I said, why the fuck am I like that? So now I see a comment and my default state is anticipating the worst. But then when I think about it, I'm like, there's people in real life who tell me worse things. And I'm here, I'm fine, I can take it. So why am I anxious over my hobby? You know? But sometimes when I think back, I think it's because I was more sensitive during those times. I used to be that person who just cared too much about what other people were saying when I wasn't supposed to care too much, especially during my adolescence. The only reason I survived unscathed is because when I say, I swear to God, I don't care, it is, I swear to God, I don't care. Not in front of you, I say, I don't care, but when I turn around, I'm actually crying over what you said. You know, no, that's not me. But now it's like I see a comment and I'm like, ooh, can't wait what this person has to say about me. And, or about something that I put out, which usually what I put out will be you commenting about something about me, because all I do is share my opinion, my feelings, my thoughts. But at some point, I did feel that way, which was I dread the comments because you just never know what people are going to say. And sometimes I thought, how could someone possibly say something negative out of this? I'm just a girl eating a burger, getting fat. That should be a source of joy for people because food is awesome, even if it's the kind that kills you slowly over time. But yeah, sometimes people have mean things to say, and then I think, well, behind the anonymity of a keyboard, of course, anybody feels like saying that stuff. But I'm thinking, if this person saw me at a restaurant, would they get up from their table, come to me, and say, something mean? Probably not. So why am I letting something like the channel give me anxiety? That's when I realized that I had a problem, sensitivity problem, anxiety problem that I needed to address. And it took me starting this thing to realize that was the problem. So nowadays I just see comments and sometimes I feel like trolling back and people don't expect it. And I love when people say, oh, you can actually troll back, or you can actually say a mean thing back, or I did not expect for you to say something like that. You're so nice and kind and sweet. And I'm like, we all have monsters inside of us, But yeah, I thought I would share that because I used to be that person. I used to be that person who dreaded the comments. But now it's like, why am I not getting comments? Give me comments. Give me attention, you know? But yeah, I will try to not disappear from people's feeds for long term. Yeah, usually the most that I seem to be gone these days is like 4 days, 5 days. And honestly, some days there is no reason why I couldn't be here. But sometimes if I were to do it, I would go to bed too late, or I would have to not do something that I need to do. And other times it's something that I would rather do. But sometimes the things I would rather do happen to be needs. So I'm trying to find that balance again that I had going on. I tell myself, what the hell was different about me last year and the year before? And the year before, since it's been like 3-4 years since I've been doing this now, that is affecting me now. And when I think about it is, remember, different schedule, more stress, ailments, and of course, energy level is just not the same when all of those things are combined. And I really do not like to sit here and stream and feel like my mind is lost. I need to be in a relaxed state, or if I'm going to vent or rant about something or break down like I have done like 2 times, it's because it's relevant. But I don't like to force myself to do something out of the routine. And I feel like you guys would be able to tell that I'm just trying to put something out as opposed to being my usual regular self. And I don't like doing that. So lately, that's what happened. I've been fatigued mentally. I also had a headache for like 4 days. It just would not go away. I was drinking water, I was still exercising, I was sleeping fine, I was resting. But I'm like, what is this headache? Could it be a tension headache? Could it be a headache from exposure to, brightness? I considered all of those things. So sometimes you just have to give yourself a break from anything that resembles work. But my intention is never really to disappear. It's just that sometimes my mind is not into it or my body is just not into it. That's usually what happens. Let's see. Where am I at? I rock with you forever on YouTube. I appreciate that so much. To me, even if I had, let's see, the 4 of you who are watching right now, even if you guys were all that I had for the rest of my life, I would be so happy. I would be fine. I would be great. It's like we're this nice little crew. We get together, we say things, we're not hostile to each other. Like, it's just great. This is why I like doing this. Originally, when I started doing this and I was by myself, I enjoyed the fact that I was creating something. It added a sense of fulfillment to my day that I used to not have before. And I was not really concerned over the views. I was not concerned over getting one view, like maybe after 3 months or something. It was really more about having a different way of documenting my life. Up to that point, all I would do was journal, um, and maybe post something on Facebook. But I stopped doing Facebook like that. I don't even take pictures anymore. And I just wanted to do something different, but still in the creative side of things. I always liked to express my thoughts and opinions, and I was on YouTube, and I would see that people would make videos about literally anything. And I said, why am I not doing that? I feel like I got a lot of good stuff to say, some stuff not so good, but if I can generate a conversation, I would love for someone to just maybe find company, find help, find amusement, meet someone different. To me, it's exciting to meet someone. It's like a new book. You've never read it before. You don't know its content. It's a brand new experience. And sometimes what that person has to contribute is life changing. So I said to myself, I will never change my life if I don't put myself out there. So I feel like the channel has influenced me mentally in positive ways. And the one thing that I will forever appreciate as an outcome is that I'm definitely not as shy as I used to be. And my shyness was not necessarily insecurity. It was more of I just don't enjoy social settings. And just because I don't enjoy social settings, I don't want to present myself as someone who finds you irritating. Like, your existence does not bother me. It's just that the being in a social setting is what makes me feel uncomfortable. It's just weird for me. Maybe it has to do with the fact that I just grew up very sheltered, and I wasn't really a child who got a lot of attention, like very, like, say I would start crying and immediately my mother or whomever was taking care of me would like come check up on me to see what's happening. It was more of a, you can deal with it. You can handle discomfort for a couple of minutes. It's not like I was the center of anyone's universe like that. So maybe that's why when I'm in a social setting, it's like, I don't need you. I learned to not need anybody, to not have attention. So to me, the idea of being here and I'm grabbing someone's attention, someone's giving me their attention. I used to not like that at all. But now, I'm not saying that I crave attention, but if I can make people gravitate toward me to accomplish something, like some discussions that we have in here that I think are absolutely useful and some people should engage in and listen to, that's great. I like that. But sometimes in real life, most of the time, people don't talk about these things. And that was frustrating me. So I said, well, I'll just journal, I'll just read independently. And maybe my mom, whenever she has time, if she finds herself interested in a topic that I bring up, sure, I'll ramble away. But yeah, I'm just used to not having anyone's attention, and that never offended me. If that sounds weird, it's alright, I get it. Maybe some of you will get it and relate to it, but I've been trying to figure out why I am the way that I am and put it into words because it's something that I've never attempted before or tried before. And since you guys tend to express shock to know that I'm actually not uh, that, what can I say, social, when I say that I'm anti-social in real life, I know that you guys find that weird. No, it's just that you have to take small steps with interacting with me in person or let me come to you. But but yeah, if I were to have some kind of a stage and address a huge group of people, I could do it, but maybe 15 minutes tops, not an hour like I do here. Anyways, information that no one asked for, but I thought that I would supply. Let's see. Choo choo. We were supposed to chat. I have been in Olive Garden in 3 times in my life because it's more healthy. I have been to Olive Garden, to the restaurant, I can recall 4 times, and then take out several times with my godfather. I would say 3 times. And then in recent times, 1 time. So I guess it's more like 6 visits in total. And every single time I got the same freaking thing, which was the chicken Alfredo. And the chicken Alfredo is a heart attackable plate. Alfredo anything is heart attackable. Definitely. And the fact that you're adding pasta to it, even worse. Let's see. Yeah, I remember Ninja telling you that we were gonna chat, but I guess we lost our medium. I feel like I sent a comment or something. That's usually how I tell people if I'm going to give out my email or something. Or maybe that's what it was. Maybe you sent an email and I never received it. Because some people in the past have tried to email me and I have to check that one spam folder. It likes to filter stuff to spam. Even people who I know who are in my contacts list end up filtered out too. So I don't know. But yeah, we'll work something out. If I sent you a picture of myself, will you rate me? My options are cute as fuck, looks like Bigfoot, or that is a monster looking creature. 3 options. You know what? When someone asks me to rate their physical appearance, I don't want to say I'm fake. I am absolutely honest about it, but I guess what would influence my opinion would be what is your intention with that. Some people genuinely want to know if they look good with an outfit, a specific look, a specific style. Some people are like, if you were looking for a mate, would I meet your criteria? And I'm like, usually what I notice in a person, if I were to consider them, is how are you as a person? What's your quality? What are your values? And then maybe focus on the looks. But if I'm out and about just wandering, of course, the first thing I will notice in a guy is the physical appearance because this, you don't see people. The first thing you notice about a person is not necessarily what they're saying, it's usually the visual cue, which is their presence. But sometimes conversations start behind you, and then they may be talking about, I don't know, Dragon Ball, and then I'm turning around and I'm like, I like Dragon Ball too. And then that's when you finally look at people. So it's varying factors. But if you say it in a playful way, like, hey, do you think I'm ugly? What do you think about me? Do you think that girls would find me attractive? Everyone has their trait that can make someone attracted to them. So some people it might be their hair, some people it might be that they look nerdy, some people it's that they're buff as hell, other people it's that the color of their skin. I don't know. But yeah, yeah, sure. I'll be glad to rate you. Just keep it PG-13. I don't think I need to tell you that, but just to tell you that. I remember a time I had a friend who was chatting with someone else. We had like a it was a WhatsApp chat, and we had like three people in there. And then one of my friends was requesting for my other friend to send a picture because they hadn't seen each other since middle school. And then my that one friend said, "Just remember, no nudes. I have a girlfriend." That was funny. The way they said it. No nudes. I have a girlfriend. Um, let's see. Where am I at? Only time I watch TV is WWE, Sports Center, the news, SpongeBob, football, but YouTube is destroying TV because YouTube tells so much more history than TV. What I like about YouTube is the fact that people who are normal, just like me, without a corporate agenda, make stuff. Of course, there are people who grow into like they turn their channel into a business and whatnot, and then they tend to change because maybe they sell their channel to be run by a company and now you don't make the rules anymore. But for me personally, I don't have any intention of focusing on this to make it grow or expand. If it happens to grow, great. I'll embrace it. I'll enjoy it. I'll try to be responsible with it. By trying to be responsible with it, I mean that I will try to find the balance to where it doesn't stress me out. There's people who, the other day, my wife Justin Biaba put out that one post on Instagram or something talking about when I became famous, I was only like 15 and it was difficult. It drove me crazy. And he said something about, oh, child stars, this tends to happen to them a lot. You guys remember that I tend to be someone who lacks empathy, but I'm thinking, why does that happen? Why don't you have support in your life? Why don't you have guidance? Why don't you have emotional support? What about your circumstances are so different that it makes you lose your mind when you become famous? Oh, I have clothes, I have cars, I have access to drugs, I have pretty women, I have supermodels, this and that. Why does that get to your brain? Why do those fumes go up to your brains? I just cannot imagine me having a lot of money, status, and letting that happen to me. Why do you change so much? And then some people come out and say, in his case, the real Justin Bieber that I know is the guy who is sweet and generous and kind and funny. I'm not denying that a person can possess those traits, but when you move on to become the person who uses racial slurs, raps about negative things here and there, you promote the consumption of things, and you know that young people are watching you, and you're not being a good role model, and you are also like having abusive relationships or being the perpetrator of abuse and stuff. How do you turn into that? Why did you evolve into that? Because you think that you have power, you're untouchable? So I want to feel sympathetic for him because it's not his fault that he did not get advice on this. But the people who surrounded him back then, would they have had good advice for him? Like his mom. What kind of mother is his mom? I'm not going to sit here and suggest that his mom was not a good mom. I remember that he like released a song back in 2011, I think, talking about how his mom was like his age at the time, which was around 17 when she had him. And I'm thinking, okay, teenage mother, what do you know about life? What do you know about life raising a child? Especially in more modern times, like 1994 would have been, you know, at that time. Not very easy, especially if you don't have family support, emotional support, strong finances, all that good stuff. But that still does not answer the question to me of if you're someone with humble beginnings, how the hell do you get lost? What happens? I know that at age 15, I think is when he took off, 14, 15, you're still someone who can be influenced, still, but still, how? When I was 15 years old, I was not losing my mind over guys. I was not thinking that I need to get plastic surgery. I was not thinking that I need to mess with drugs. I need to travel. I need to be on stage. I need to sing. I need to be famous. I need attention. I need promotion. I need all this. Even if that were handed to me, that wouldn't control me. So, what is it about fame and being a celebrity, being celebrated all over the world, that makes people change? Why is it that some celebrities don't change? Why is it that they're genuinely nice, kind, genuine, great, sweet celebrities out there? So it's not impossible to have all of that influence and not lose your mind. Why did it happen to you? So that is one question that I would like to ask folks who fall victim to that, to like the drugs, consumption, and depression, and the pressure. I'm thinking, I think the only reason you're doing that is because you have fallen victim to the trap of, even though I have a lot of money, it's never enough. Because money is power. And all I want is to have more. Because I'm afraid of going back to being poor and broke like I used to be. There is just no reason why, after you have exceeded, say, the $50 million mark, you need to feel that anxious. You need to feel that way. Like, what is going on in your head that makes you feel like you do not have that security? The answer is simple. It narrows down to lifestyle. I'm pretty sure that he would like to maintain his lifestyle of like luxury, and stuff happens when he wants to. Everyone's ideal life is like that. But you gotta remember that everything comes with a cost, everything comes with a price. You have to work more, you have to be away from home for a long time. If you're away from home and home is the only place that influences you positively, you are depriving yourself of that. And then you allow other influences to come into your life and start listening to them more. And then they do not necessarily take care of you like your family would. Maybe that's it. But I really would like to know why that happens. Why people lose their minds when they get a little bit of status. I cannot imagine that happening to me. And that's why I say every single time, if something were to happen to where this channel just somehow takes off and it puts me in like a good spot to say I have an audience now, I could start a business if I wanted to, I could sell merch, I could do whatever. I'm still not going to do that because I cannot imagine having a customized piece of clothing with like my name on it that people like to wear. Great, I am being celebrated. Thank you, I appreciate it. But I cannot imagine taking advantage of people just to secure myself financially, to fund my goals. My goals are just really simple. So I just cannot imagine charging someone $50 for a hoodie or $70 for a subscription to be able to watch me. No, no. Like, I just do not like the thought of my life becoming chaotic. And I feel like when you grow like that, there will be added chaos and stress. And that's not something I'm looking for. It can be fun, it can be entertaining, but I don't need that to feel fulfilled. And a lot of these people, famous people, rich people, whatever, they always say, even though I had this money, I was still not feeling fulfilled. Why? Why? Just why? But anyways, something's irritating my nose now. I think it was that thing that I had sprayed. Anyways, I went off on a tangent there. Where am I at? Wow, I lost my place in the comments. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Right, I remember now. I just checked it and I cannot send messages, only a tweet. Sending you a message is an option. Did you send me a tweet? Because I do not see a tweet. Yeah, I don't see a tweet. Try sending me a tweet. And yeah, I should be able to see it. If you're still listening to me, because I know I rambled away for a long time. Only time I watch WWE is blah blah. Okay, that's what I read. I think Taylor Swift is around 30. I don't know though, purely I guess. Your guess seems to go hand in hand with mine. I do remember Kanye West dissed Taylor Swift, dissed for beating Beyonce, who is the best artist of the year in the 2000s. So crazy. I remember that. I am the high priest of the Church of Insensitivity. Yeah, we gotta join your church then. Because I'm definitely someone who can be pretty insensitive about things. Well, gotta go, Zam. Good to see you again. Have a good night. Have a good night, Jimmy. That was like how many minutes ago? 40 minutes ago, I think. I'm friends with the monsters up under my bed. Get along with the voices inside of my head. You say that I'm crazy. You say that I'm crazy, but that's not fair. I understand about your stories, Amber. You're strong and different. I have had headaches for 5 days. It's very unsettling, energy draining, and painful. Yes. And the worst part about it is that even my eyes were beginning to hurt. It was like, that's when I said to myself, it's either the sinus infection or just exposure to like brightness that might be making things worse. And also, there was a time in which I was having trouble falling asleep as soon as I went to bed. So sometimes, if you linger in bed and you're worried about how your day is going to go if you don't sleep well, I would imagine that gives you like a tension kind of stress. And I was also noticing that when I would wake up, I had the worst neck pains ever. So, am I sleeping bad, or is it the posture that I have to hold at work that's making me all kinds of messed up? You sent 2 tweets and I see no notifications. Are you tweeting the right Samri? My Twitter handle is supposed to be Samri07. Samri07. Yeah, I don't see anything. Oh, how did I get 190 followers? I have never had that many. Wait, I think I did have 190 one time, but I have never surpassed 200. Yeah, I don't see any mentions. The last mention I had was 3 days ago. Nobody loves me. Nobody loves me on Twitter. Nobody tweets me. I don't care. One less thing to keep track of. But yeah, I don't see you. Yeah, I don't see anything. In case you wonder, this is the picture that I have. If that helps to identify me. Because I don't think there should be a sea of people on Twitter who are called Zamri, right? 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 Oh yeah, that moon thing. Here I am in my room, locked away under clouds, because it was cloudy a couple of hours ago, and the forecast says that it's gonna be cloudy. Oh, it's not gonna be cloudy anymore. Forecast lies. It said that 2 nights ago it said it would be cloudy and raining for 2 weeks. Not 2 weeks. 5 days. 5 days. Huh, interesting. Yep, I still see no notifications. So yeah, just try. Just try. I saw that politics topic again. People are crazy. Let's see. Where am I at? Zamri, we all love you. That means the world to me. You tell them, Zamri, keep it PG-13. Zamri, people let money drive them crazy. I'd rather have my soul, health, and being poor than being rich. have 3 more days to live. People think money can buy Jesus, buy people's loves or friends. Yeah, money is one of those things that when you have it, I imagine it feels good. You don't have to worry about losing your job quite for long term. You don't have to worry about making a decision between going to the doctor or fixing your car. You don't have to worry about where your next meal is going to come from. If you need to get on a plane and go somewhere, you can do it. If you want to take days off for no reason, I imagine you can. But but of course, the consequences of achieving that status tend to be you have to make massive sacrifices. And some of those sacrifices people end up regretting. Like a common one that I hear is when someone becomes career oriented, they sacrifice becoming parents. They postpone it until they're older. And sometimes becoming a parent when you're older means that you will experience complications. I'm not saying that everybody should go ahead and establish that by age 25 or something you need to have kids and be married and all that, because that is just a very life changing decision. If you're not fit for it at that age, why pressure yourself? If you're 30 years old and you still feel like you're not fit for it, it's all right. Postpone it. But I just do not want people to end up resentful about that. So for me, if I ever make up my mind about it, I'm going to definitely give it a sense of urgency at some point. Whether I am financially satisfied or set or not. And the reason being, as irresponsible as that sounds, I just don't think it's fair that I need to deprive myself of an experience that I want to have just because the society that I am in does not support me currently. And I'm not trying to say that it is society's responsibility to make me successful. It is my responsibility to make sure that I fulfill my tasks, my duties, my responsibilities, that I attempt to make myself live a better life. But I believe that I am doing so. I mean, I do not take on unnecessary bills. I do not do things that can have consequences, such as being out at night by myself in places I don't know. I also do not have a record of being hoeing around and all that good stuff. So I have made decisions that I believe ensure that I keep myself minimally stressed. So if at some point I cannot fulfill, that financial stability that I think would make me say, okay, I'm ready to start stimulating my baby factory, right? I mean, I have to also accept the fact that maybe that won't come. So if that doesn't come, what about my dream of being a parent? I'm not going to sacrifice that. Assuming that one day I decide that I want them. Because it's something that I have been fluctuating in. Some years I'm excited about it. Some years I'm like, I like the idea of being a parent. And other times I'm like, I don't want that at all. It's going to be expensive. It's going to be stressful. It's going to require me to have additional patience that I'm not sure I'm willing to have. I'm also going to, have to sacrifice my body. Am I willing to do that? It is a process that would require recovery and whatnot. So, more often than not, I have been on the side of I don't want kids. And when I say that I don't want kids, I find myself happier saying that. And I like to listen to what other people have to say with their experiences being parents. And then I said to myself, well, had I become a teacher, I would have received that satisfaction. But I do not need a classroom to be a teacher. And that's what's, I feel like the society that we live in is designed to make you believe that you need to be invested in that profession and hold the degree to have the credentials and to enjoy it. No, I have learned more from people who are not credited to be educators. So, why would I not be a good parent to someone who needs guidance, love, and support, but is not necessarily sharing my DNA? So, once again, that is one of those things that I like to say. in the channel, that is a matter of where your values are at. So just because I'm a little different doesn't mean that I'm going to miss out on the experience that you have. But anyway, that's where I'm at on that one. I'm having trouble reading this. Okay. I remember I was talking about going on a date once I take my vacation time. And I still have not received the notifications. And I do kind of remember that vaguely. I sent the tweets, love. So many people are phony. If a person have $1, the world don't care. If a person have billions of dollars, everybody going crazy worshiping the person because of money and fame. Yes, because unfortunately our culture tends to be one of celebrity worshiping. And I can say that I don't do that. I did send to you're wearing glasses and smiling in your picture. Yes, I am. The picture that I sent a few moments ago, is that the one you saw? Because I promise you that I am not seeing the notification. Mentions. Yeah, my last mention is still from some guy 3 days ago. Or some girl. I can't see what the Abby is. Might be a girl. Yeah, I don't see anything. How about this? What is your handle and I shall come to you? Because it's really weird. I am not seeing a notification. And of course, I do have connection. Because if I didn't, this thing would not be rolling right now. But anyway, we'll make it happen. Let's see, where am I at? I can no longer tweet you because I got kicked off Twitter for criticizing illegal immigrants. Oh, really? I guess someone can report you to the point that you get suspended off Twitter. Are you permanently banned? Or can you not go back on Twitter? I've never been in that situation before, or met someone who's been in that situation, so I just want to know. Or can you have the profile but not tweet? Oh, you said that you got kicked off Twitter. Okay, never mind. That was stupid. The Bible says, for the love of money is the root of all evil, and I'm hearing about money since 1989. Money have people change because rich people have the power over people to control. And on the note of money being power, I cannot help but think about what kind of power do I seek with money? Like, I personally do not aspire to have a huge political influence. I guess I would want to if I saw that a terrible injustice was being committed, but I have never been someone who's looking for that. Someone who's looking for a way to, first of all, have my image be the one that's beloved, be the center of attention, have my ideals be the ones that people go by. I just want for everybody to be okay in their nests, minding their business. Why would I want to... Big companies, for example, so much money that gets spent on marketing something. All because they want you to spend $1. Spend something. I get it. You want to advance. You want to be relevant. Competition means that you need to get creative here and there. But when you cannot ever foresee that you'll be satisfied and that enough is enough, what is the purpose? So because I cannot identify with that, that's why I can sit here and say I would not enjoy being in a position in which I have that type of power. Even if I have the most, the best of intentions, and I can help a lot of people, and I can ensure that my family is well off and not have to work so hard, and I can ensure that I can have basic stuff like healthcare and see what's going on in my body and why I'm having such terrible pains. It's like, you know, just why do you want material things? Why do you want to have control over people? Control over an industry for people to wear your name on their clothes? Why? Can that ever be fulfilled? If you were born into a family and you experience a lot of neglect, I can see how you're needy for love, affection, and attention. But at some point, you gotta be alright without it. Because if I manifested those feelings based off how I was brought up, I would never be alright. I would never be satisfied. I would never be happy. And when you need to be under medication all the time, that's messing with your brain already. Some people are in like birth control and antidepressants at the same time, and they have no feelings. They have no drive, no desire for anything. It's like they're just alive, but they cannot perceive things. I don't want to end up like that. So if I have to endure pain in the name of me being in control of my body, emotion, and mind, I will do it. And trust me, I have been in terrible physical shape before. So I'm not afraid of pain. But some people resort to say the painkillers. I'm not shaming them. I'm in no way trying to say that I'm better than them. But I'm just saying that I would like to see people having a little bit more tolerance for discomfort. Um, like, I know people in my family who they're like, oh my God, I broke my phone and I had to downgrade to one that's like 2 generations older and it is slower, it is terrible. And I'm like, does it still make calls? Does it still send messages? Does it still load data? Does it still let you, let's say, get on the internet, assuming that the older phone they have, they needed the internet in it? Why are you complaining? Just because it's slower, just because it doesn't look as sharp, or it may not be so sleek on your hand, why are you complaining? Some people don't even have this and they would like it or want it. You know? Like, this is still the freaking iPhone 6 Plus, not the 6S, just the 6 Plus. And I see that the new iPhones coming out, the XR or XYZ, the 11 one that they just announced 2 days ago or yesterday. I'm not thinking about that shit. I'm not thinking, oh, I need to update this phone because, oh my God, it's old. I'm not thinking about that at all. I'm thinking about the fact that I am blessed and privileged that I have one that still works and functions and does everything I need it to. But there's people who are like uncomfortable about that. It's like, oh my God, I'm still on the iPhone 7. I need to upgrade. No, you don't need to upgrade. You want to upgrade. And that's the reason why your anxiety is not my anxiety. You don't have money, but you're still trying to spend it on things that you don't need. And then you wonder why you're lonely or your financial situation is not better. And I'm thinking, my finances are not the greatest, but they are stresses that I don't have to worry about. I almost have zero debt. The only debt I have is my car loan, which is very close to being paid off. Very close. Like, I am a year and a half away. That is amazing to me. After that, I don't have to worry about a damn thing. But it's just crazy. When is it enough for people? What are you going for? Why do you feel like you need to be influential like that? Let that small group of people who control economies and whatnot, let them play their game. I mean, yeah, they have control over you, unfortunately, but you can minimize their impact. It is possible. You just need to be. It's a discipline. And it's a discipline that, of course, is not designed for everybody because you may need to deprive yourself of some things, but you need to learn how to live with deprivation without being resentful over the fact that you're depriving yourself. There is a difference, and that is something that not everyone gets. If you don't get that, that's why I cannot feel sympathy on some occasions for some people's circumstances. Because I'm thinking, I see the solution, but if I were to propose it to you, you're going to reject it. You're not going to understand that for a short period of time, you can make some sacrifices that are going to benefit you, but you're not willing to. If you're not willing to, at that point, you don't want the help, you don't need the help, you don't desire to get better. So I just let you be. You're not my concern, but sometimes I think my responsibility is to express what I think would help the person. But it's not my responsibility if they do it or not, you know? But anyways, I just strive to be a good influence on everybody's lives, and sometimes I will make mistakes. Sometimes something that I say I always mean well, but it may not be applicable for you. That's fine. It ain't gonna hurt my feelings, because my perception is limited to what I'm able to witness in your presence. And that's not always going to be accurate. Because if I only spend an hour a day with you, what is happening during that hour? Are you busy? Do I have your undivided attention? What is going on? Are we talking about personal things? Are we focusing on being, say, if it's at work, are we just colleagues? We don't get to discuss anything else? You know, factors like that. But anyways, you guys get the point. Let's see. Try tweeting me at Michael Life. Okay, let me find my boy. Let me see if I can find my boy. What was it? DH. Huh. I swear I have never seen you before. Maybe I have. But definitely not in my messages. I feel like I saw that, yeah. Now I want to do some scrolling on my mentions just to make sure that I didn't miss you. Or maybe you look familiar from the channel, like your name, but I don't know. Anyway, what matters is I found you. Yes, I find you. I see you. And you're a 100% Aquarius. Aquarius are nice. My best friend is an Aquarius. Aquarius. I'm just gonna say hi. I'm live tweeting in a live stream. I'm a terrible person. Well, I have sent a follow and it is pending since your status is that your profile is heavily fortified. So excuse me while I try to penetrate the fort. Alright, and catch up with the comments. La 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 la. Generally, the world problem is wanted attention of money, then being a leader to have their own world. Yep. People care about money more than education. People didn't go in 4 years of high school, but to go to prison more than 4 years, so sad. True. Some people go to prison more than they've ever gone to school cumulatively, which is an average of 13 years if you just do the end at high school route like me. Wow, could you not make another account? Not sure if I am permanently banned, but not sure I want to go back on there anyways. Honestly, Twitter is something that I'm on it because, like I said earlier, if I didn't have it, I wouldn't know what's trending, and whatever's trending is usually the news. And it's usually what my colleagues end up talking to me about. Like, hey, did you see the news about this and that. But I don't normally interact with people, and if I do, it's usually direct messages. Like sometimes I remember someone I'm friends with, and I'm like, hey, I would like your opinion on this. And then the messages are long, too long for a tweet to ever hold. But yeah, um, Twitter's a good tool. You just need to have a purpose with it. So for me, usually, I treat it like a massive comment section. It's like if I go under a trend about politics, there's going to be the trolls, there's going to be the people who are serious, there's going to be the people who are college kids and they're passionate about the research. Then there's also the fact that you can tweet directly at celebrities that you otherwise wouldn't probably attempt to communicate with. I think that's cool. It's a useful tool because some of them end up being inspired by whatever their fans are saying, and some of them genuinely want to keep in touch. But becoming obsessed with it, I think, would be the bad thing. But I would never try to go in there and try to hurt someone or say something that is politically sensitive and I know may trigger some people. But you cannot always live. My starter's happening. Live your life in fear of what people are going to say or people are going to feel. You know, I don't think that's your responsibility. But if you're actively going in there to be an asshole, then yeah, if people jump on you, you kind of deserved it. But what I have disliked in the past about participating on something, either on Twitter or a comment section, is that maybe people do not hear your tone when you read. Like, some people just do not know how to read. But sometimes you may drop a comment and you mean absolutely no harm. It's just an observation you made, an interpretation you made. And for some reason, some people really overreact to it. Why? All you're doing is people keep mentioning the same thing, which is you're in this bandwagon of agreement. Someone says something different, and for some reason, these other people think that their point of view is the best, is superior, is righteous, and then they start bullying the person who's different. Why? You know? So it has happened to me before, where my opinion was a little different from what the flow of the discussion was, and people were trying to gang up on me, and I'm like, well, I'm sorry that you guys have to be so disrespectful that you cannot sustain a mature conversation and you're finding refuge in your comfort zone. Maybe you should try to venture out of it, you know? But anyway, let's see. Sammy, I'm not saying you're worshipping famous. I'm just saying most people been doing that because the fans believe that's all they have in life. Yeah, true. I want to be relevant politically so I can change the world for the better. I love my solitude for the most part. I'm really comfortable with my own company. Well, I guess I have to undo my follow request. Nah, I'm just playing. But I understand you. When I was a teen, and I used to have my moments in which I wanted to be depressed over how everybody had friends but I had nobody. When I thought about it, I said to myself, why would I want to add drama to my life that I did not wish for? At that age, most people were talking about their relationship dramas, the dramas with their friends, like so and so was saying this and that about me, oh, this and that, and childish stuff. Even when I was a teen, I wanted to have mature conversations. I wanted to discuss politics. I wanted to discuss the state of education. I wanted to discuss useful things. But at that age, not a lot of people are thinking about that. And I said to myself, unless I meet someone academically inclined like me, I'm not going to have any friends. And then eventually I did have who would become my best friend at the time. And it was great because we had political discussions. I was getting what I looked for in a friend. But eventually, We went our separate ways. She went to college, and the direction of things changed to where I guess staying in touch was just no longer a thing that was possible. But there's no hatred, there's no resentment, nothing. It's just we just changed. We're different. Our lives are different. So when something like that happens, I just tell myself, while it lasted, I enjoyed it. It doesn't need to last eternally. But just embrace the good times. Embrace stuff while it lasts. And then once it's over, let it go. Don't dwell on it. I like the video of you playing basketball. We have to get a one-on-one game going. You know what? If someone were to come up to me and be like, hey, do you want to play? I usually end up rejecting, and it's because, first of all, I wear glasses, and I am never going to wear contacts. And on top of that, I could wear those little goggles that the pros wear, but I just don't want to do that. Usually, when I play basketball, the appeal of it is how good is my aim. But I'm not thinking about the strategy of the game. I'm not thinking about how to steal the ball. I'm not thinking about dribbling and running as fast as I can. I'm not thinking about defense. I'm just thinking about, could I shoot this mug from anywhere in the court? And how good is my accuracy? That's my favorite part about it. So one-on-ones is probably not going to happen. And also, I just fear for my physical safety. Because basketball can get, it's not as brutal as football, but it can get, kind of like that. And I just don't wish to get hurt playing a sport. That's the risk that you have to take while playing a sport. But I mean, I enjoy watching it. Definitely enjoy watching it. I am naturally an introvert. In fact, to this day, my family and friends still call me Silent Sam, but I also know that someone needs to say certain things. I have always been the person who stays quiet. I absorb what everybody else is saying. And when I'm ready to contribute something substantial, that's when I get involved. But there's people who just like to speak after every turn. I cannot be that way. And one of the things that I do get criticized about is that once I start talking, I tend to not pause. And then I have to explain that being a creative mind, being a mind who has thought about things in depth for so long, that's just how I am. I need water. I have it handy. It made it worse. Anyway. But yeah, usually I explain that most of the topics that I find myself involved in, I have thought about for a long time. And as a result, I can put my seconds. And there have been times in which I have wanted to engage with someone in an important discussion, but they end up getting defensive and they say, well, I don't have an answer for you. Or another excuse I hear is, well, I cannot tell you about it, especially religious conversations. They say, I cannot tell you about it because unless you're involved in the religion, you wouldn't understand. And I'm like, no, because someone who understands something is able to teach it, is able to preach it, is able to explain it, it's able to express it. But when I hear that for so long, and it's been years since you told me that you're not ready to give me an answer, that tells me that you're bullshitting. And I can see right through that. So for me, I like to save my discourse until the very end because, again, I will be very elaborate. And I do not like to start speaking if my thoughts are not complete. I will be able to tell you a complete story, exposition, climax, conclusion, and of course the details that lead up to that. And some people just do not know how to appreciate that. Some people do not understand that that is actually an art. And I think it's weird because for me, I don't like to have discussions that lead nowhere. And unfortunately, in the past, I have had fights with people who just don't get that. It's like, whoa, you just talk too much. And I'm like, do you think I talk a lot about nothing? Or do you find that the discussions that you have with me, you don't often have with other people? And it isn't until I confront them with that that they say, oh, now that I think about it, yeah, conversations with you are different. And I'm like, they should be different because they're not pointless. I do not like to engage in pointless discussions. And that's why when I was new to my job, my manager kept saying, I would like to see you interacting more with the customer. And I'm like, well, I don't always have something to say about the food that they're buying. And I'm usually not a curious person. I'm not someone who's all up on your business unless it's something that really catches my eye. Or you're getting something that I've never seen before and I'm thinking, how the hell would you use that? But but then my manager was like, you don't have to talk to them about food. You can talk to them about the weather. And I'm like, what do I have to say about the weather? If it's hot, if I feel hot, 99% of the people will feel as hot as me, or they will feel as cold as me. When you are very, very, very hot, humans are not designed to withstand heat that is extreme. You will be uncomfortable. I do not need to have a conversation with someone about how hot it is outside when it's obvious that the effects are sunburn, dehydration. Some people get temperamental. Uh, your plants may get killed if they're not watered properly. I can infer that already. That is a useless, pointless ass conversation. Now, if it's torrential rains out there and I'm about to initiate a conversation about the weather, I may be like, hey, it is raining outside. I have been here for 6 hours. I got 2 more hours to go. Are there any roads closed? Are there any trees down? Have there been any accidents? You know, an update due to the weather. That would be a useful conversation. But on a regular, normal, sunny day, whether it's cold or hot, because I can infer, I don't need to be having that conversation with someone. And the bad thing about engaging in conversations like that with strangers is that eventually they'll think that it's okay to ask you personal questions. And one of the things that I hate in this planet more than anything is being asked personal questions, especially when I'm in a professional setting. Just because I work retail, which is not really like a respected, prestigious position, does not mean that I do not need to have my personal space respected. Some of my colleagues are comfortable with divulging all of their personal information. That is them. I am me. And I am saying that it's not okay to try to intrude in my personal business. That's it. But for some reason, because of my position, I have to be occasionally willing to break that. And I'm like, no. No, if this place will not protect me with that, I don't need to be here. But yeah, that was one of the things that used to infuriate me. It's like I limit discussions in here solely to professional ones. Nothing wrong with that. There shouldn't be anything wrong with that. I am not offended that I go through people's lines when I'm actually the customer and they don't talk to me. They don't try to find out more. Just keep it basic. Be like, hey, how's it going? Did you find everything? Or, something basic like that. Thank you. Have a good one. That's all I need. I don't need you to try to give me an experience of, wow, this employee really went out of their way to know about this and that. No, I don't need for other people to care like that about my personal details. I'm not needy for that. My times of being needy or when I was a kid and I did not get that. It's all right. I missed out. I got over it. I don't need to carry that on to my adulthood. There's some people who they're as needy as kids and they're my age or older. It's insane to me. Why? And usually the root cause is that they were neglected as children. And I'm thinking, there was a certain degree of neglect that I suffered as a kid. It didn't leave me fucked in the head to where I need to like beg other people for attention. So it is possible to have a shitty childhood and not be that type of person, you know? But anyways, I guess I'm just weird. But I'm the good kind of weird because I'm not miserable about it, you know? I'm pretty confident about who I am now. Let's see, where am I at? The ability to delay gratification is a key to success in many things. Yes. Yes, every people need to listen and get help. Nobody is perfect. Not perfect either. Most people need to stop trying to be perfect. Humans still living in the same world. Yes. Zebra, your hair is blessed and beautiful. Looks like art on picture on the wall. I need to cut this thing because it's the ends are like so dead. Whoever it was who was on my stream the other day and they said, I think they said something like, I will unsubscribe because your hair, you have split ends. I'm like, yeah, if you thought it was bad like 2 months ago, it's gotten worse. But anyways, yeah, my hair is officially 2 inches below my waist now. But thanks for the compliment. Cool. My personality type or MBTI is INTJ. Me, cool, a word almost never associated with me. People are far too sensitive nowadays. Yes. Well, we can just shoot around and chat, sweetheart, but I wouldn't hurt you on 101, just friendly Amy. Yeah, some people, I like the people who get really serious about it. It's like, you're a pro, you've been playing forever, and I just can't help but admire it. Because I've never been someone who's athletic, but now the sole fact that I can do things that I couldn't do before, it's like, it feels good. It feels good to know that you have the capacity to do more. You just had to discover it. We are cool, man. We introverts have a lot going on for us. Yes, imagine if everyone was the same personality type. That would be chaotic. I cannot begin to really paint the picture of it right now because I really haven't thought about it. But a world that does not have diversity, psychological diversity, would be unfulfilling. That's the best word I can come up with right now. Yes, most people being mad what other people are saying about Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or picture or joke taken too seriously, but the main thing people care about, opinion but not the truth. Yes, I think it's crazy that people take stuff so seriously. I used to be that person who would be an anxious cookie about everything. Like, I just took life very seriously, but once I started to dial back, everything just got better. Not everyone has harmful intentions. The discussion topics that you bring up usually are very interesting. Yeah, I try to make it interesting because there's some stuff that I wish more people would talk about that they don't talk about. And if nobody else is doing it, I'm going to be the one doing it. It's why I like her channel. Someone likes something I do, yes. Oh yeah, facts, plus her beauty goes along great with that brain of hers. Beauty. Every time someone gives me like a physical compliment, all I want to do is look for the worst angle of my face, which Zam has really ugly angles, and just showcase it. I do that on video calls a lot with people who live far away with me, friends who live far away with me, and I'm like, you just forgot what I look like in detail. But thanks, guys. I needed that. Nice comments. Your hair is sweet, and I need your hair in a ponytail. I need my hair in a ponytail. You're welcome. I concur. If everyone had the same personality type, I think life would be boring in such a way that there's no uniqueness in the world. And at the same time, there are some personality types that I think we can do without, like the crazy people who go causing tragedies and the more radical ones. But at the same time, those people serve as catalysts to make society progress. So it's really not that bad. And unfortunately, the rate of progression of society does not always line up with what people deem as progress. To me, progress would be that everyone is in a point in their lives where they don't have to worry about the basics: food, clothing, shelter, water, clean water, and just the very basics. But for some people, that is not agreeable. Some people think that that needs to be something difficult for people to access. You have to meet a certain criteria for that to be a thing. And I'm like, excuse me, I didn't ask to be born. So just because I don't feel like integrating myself into that system doesn't mean I should be condemned to it or condemned for it. Little things like that. There are some things that universally should not be dissented upon, but sometimes it just goes a little too far, and I don't like that. I don't like conflict. So if we could do away with the personality types that tend to be the catalysts of conflicts, I think I would be happier. But at the same time, those people pose the challenges, and challenges drive people. And I do like me a good challenge sometimes. I concur. If everyone had the same personality type, I think life would be boring. That's what I just read. Me too. I used to do that. I haven't seen any ugly angles. Lol, ugly is inside. Yeah, all that blood and the stench of organs and digesting food. Yeah, no, no. Maybe I'll do an ugly angles video. It'll be the most traumatizing thing I ever post. Zamber, your face is pretty. I cannot forget the word cute. Alright, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in and joining me on what is like 2 hours of streaming. I cannot say I have been online for this long. And special thanks to my phone for surviving this mess too. I had no idea that it would last this long, but I'm very grateful it did. Now I wish to update the title of this stream, but it was so broad that there's just no way I could go back and do that now. But anyways, I had fun. I'm starting to lose my voice because I need to hydrate myself. But anyways, it's way past my bedtime too. And I shouldn't try to mess with my sleep cycle again, because I find it very tough to undo the damage. Because maybe I'm just not as young as I used to be. But does that ever happen to you guys? Like you go to bed one night just at a slightly different time and you just cannot fall asleep at all. It's happening to me too much. But anyways, I enjoyed my time here. Every time I do streams like this, after it's been a little while, I just remind myself, like I say every single time, I love this. I love doing this. Why don't I do it more often? Why does it become difficult sometimes? It's not. It's just other stuff piles up, and that's what makes it seem overwhelming. But you can count that I will always be here. Great video. Thank you for all the videos and everything. It's a good topic. Good night, love. Message me later tonight or in the afternoon if you want. I'll be up. Later, man. Stay cool. I will. You too. Awesome. Alright. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you